Carissa Nichols from Columbus, Ohio. And tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I work for a vision insurance company to put beans on the table. And I do art with my mom, Lillian Nichols. We kind of helped each other discover polymer clay in '93. And it kind of took off from there. She was always more of a caner. I was always more of a sculpture person. And I started really wanting to work big because I only have sight in one eye. And one of my heroes was Tori Hughes. And when she would do her videos, she would make these gigantic things and you could just see what she was doing. Cause you know, she did the hinges and all the pieces that moved, the metal. And I'm like, that's what I want to do. I got to work big so I can see it and then I can make it smaller. Well, then I started working big and I'm like, but I like big, but big is heavy. So then that's when I started finding ultralight, and then Melanie West helped me. We were at a retreat and she gave her this excellent demo ultralight, and I made a mistake with a bowl and it tore when I was taking it off the form, and I threw it and it landed on the light. I turned around and I'm like, oh, there's light coming out of that. How cool. And I thought, well, I'll deliberately make one. But I made it with tiny holes and it wasn't very impressive. And then I tried pinching up the sides around the hole so there would be like a reflection of the light coming out. Not so much. And I just kept playing with it and playing with it and playing with it. And then I thought of putting rainbow tea lights underneath it so that the lights would change and get all of the shades. And the longer you draw out the edges around the hole to go up, the more shades you get. So even though you only have technically 4 colors in a rainbow LED, if you look at the video that I have on my Facebook, you'll see tones and shades because of the white ultralight refracts it.
So what material are you using now? Your ultralight.
I'm doing the ultralight, and then I'm doing translucent Primo. And then I did one smooth, very, very thin dome of Cernet, which was Cernet translucent, the Cernet glitter gold, and Cernet silver that I did as a makume. And that, again, changes how those LED lights react when it hits that surface. Because it's got glitter and silver in it, it also refracts the light again.
Okay.
Different. Each shape that I make changes the optics, so you get a totally different look. That's what I like about it.
So your optics from start to finish. You work in optics. You have trouble with optics.
Yeah, you kind of nailed it there, didn't you? They are LED rainbow lights from Amazon. So they go through
That is all ultralight?
Yes, this entire thing is ultralight.
Okay.
Linda sells these Daddio aluminum cake things. Sure. And I formed that. Most of them are formed over some of those shapes, but it's all a very thick pad of ultralight that is very carefully smoothed down onto that form so it won't pop off, because it's very chalky. It doesn't like to stick to things. And then I start forming it with my fingers, with a couple of tools, and then I'll let it sit for a day and then go back and finish it and then bake it.
And so how thick is that pad to begin with, or are you pulling it up as you?
It's getting pulled up. Yeah,
okay.
It's getting pulled up. So I've been accused of being obsessed with one-celled animals and coral, and I'm like, guilty. My mom actually suggested, I wonder if you would get more of a glow if you did translucent. And I'm like, well, I'll go home and try. But first I had this idea in my head. I really just wanted to do a very simple, just a simple dome, because you can see it's not clear and you can see some of the other stuff in there. And I just wanted to see if maybe putting things in the way of the light would cause it to refract internally when it came out, and it did. Even though this sucker is at least this thick, this was a big piece of translucent, it's this thick even after the ridges, and it still glows. It glows. So I'm going to be moving, keep pushing those, and I would love to make some that are bigger.
And now you have 40 some?
Yeah, 40.
40. You have 40 of them. And so the next step,
TV and Gehanna was saying that they're really, the food bank, they're struggling to keep money or food in the food bank, and they're asking for donations. And I thought, well, if I'll set a price that will pay for the mailing, replace the ultralight, because that's kind of expensive right now, and then the rest of it can go to the food bank. So I posted in Snarky Crafters, I posted in Crafting, I put it on my Facebook, and I got a lot of people that wanted them out, and I'm going to keep doing them because now I have 60 people or more that are interested. And it's a very good Zen thing for me, because this whole situation, I'm always a person that if you give me a problem, but you give me, and here's what you got to do, and I'm like, I'm on it. This is not the kind of thing where one person can go, I'm on it and I can fix it for everybody, but I can do this. I'm letting my mom teach it because they're on a fixed income, and this is a way for her to pay her own clay, help her go to retreats and everything. So I am going to have her teach it. But I'm like Donna Kano said, don't teach it until you're ready to let it go. So it's going to stay home with mama for a little while.
Okay. All right. So, you're not ready. You're not ready.
And then also this clay is not like normal clay. It's like the cat of the clay world. That most clay is like, oh, you want me to do this? Sure. You want me to do this? And the clay and the ultra clay is like, mm-mm. And if it comes out of the package and it's very gooey, you got to let it sit for days until it hardens up a bit, and then you got to work with it for a while and put it to the side or stick it in the freezer. So it takes patience to work with this stuff. I get 2 luminaries out of one package.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, some of them I made were a little smaller because I was testing something. Is this going to work? Am I going to like it? And then I realized if I'm going to do that, make this part wide enough so I can still get the LEDs underneath it, and then I can still sell that. Some people don't want something big, they want something small. So I had a couple people say, would this work in my garden instead of one of those glass lights? I'm like, I don't know. We're going to test it. And I have to blame Nancy Nearing for that, because I was always such a butterfly. I'm going to do this a little bit, do this a little bit, do this a little bit. And here she was, production work. And she could create these things in hours, which I'm like, that would take me a week. And she says, well, I've made 57 of them.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess it's time for me to do that. And so this taught me about production work, but still making them. I mean, they're all a little bit different. So my Gemini side isn't going, I don't want to make 12. I'm happy about it. It's making me feel good in this time. And I'm looking for anything that's going to make me feel good. The luminaries, it's all about the shape affecting the light that you see. And that's kind of cool.
Yeah. And so optics have been central to you for...
It helps me a lot in my job when I have somebody call in and they say my child's been diagnosed with amblyopia, because that's what they thought I had back when I was nonverbal and couldn't say, no, I can't see out of this eye. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of things I can talk to people about, like how their prescriptions work and what's going to work for them. And because I wear them myself, I've had the surgery. So I find it very helpful and almost in a way kind of a gift, because it's helped me to help other people.
Wow, that's a great story.
Huh, thank you.
Well, this is it has a nice cyclicalness to it, you know.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It really does.
Giving back, and making a mistake and finding out the mistake is a good thing, and you
Yeah.
know, all of that has a nice.
But
don't
I
know.
also wouldn't be here if I didn't have the support of so many good people in my life that were polymer clay artists, artists in general. And I mean, I'm really, really, really grateful. I'm really lucky. I've got, and of course my mom, that goes without saying, right? So I'm lucky. I'm fortunate.